Hey YouTube, welcome back to War Thunder, or if you're new here, welcome to the channel. We're looking at the Russian starter pack. This is going to be part of a series of videos where I cover the starter packs for all of the factions, all of the countries. And starting off with Russia, because in the game, this is honestly a killer combo. So what we've got here is the T126, which is a 2.7 tank. So if we break into it, I'll show you. Let's have a look. That's what we're looking at. 45mm 20k cannon. This thing does rip. I've had a lot of fun in this. You've got 354% research bonus and 120% line bonus. That is including the premium bonus, which obviously you get 7 days premium with this pack. Now, the plane that you get with this pack is this I-153M6, which looks like this. In my opinion, absolutely gorgeous looking little biplane here, which has bombs. So the bombs that you can get for this are as follows. You get either the 4 Fab 50s, which aren't anything that exciting, to be honest. And then you've also got these rockets. So the RBS 82s and the RS 82s, which are a couple of rockets for it. Now, I'm not there with rockets yet, but the bombs, they're a bit pitiful, to be honest. You're better off in this plane just kind of searching out other fighters in ground RB and you'll be fine. But that's not to say obviously you can't use this in Air Arcade, Air RB. You can, and it stacks up really well against, you know, what it comes up against, even if it is 2.0 and a little higher than most other biplanes. For example, if we look in the aviation tree, you know, by the time you get to 2.0, I think there's one here, you know, you've got a normal I-16, you know, MiG. So your turn time's great, but I mean, the plane is still, you know, built out of nothing. So very fragile, but great in ground RB. So what else do you get with the pack? Oh, have a quick trip over to the online store. Okay, so if we look at this USSR starter pack, you can see you get the T126, the I-153, 120,000 silver lions and premium account for 7 days. So that is pretty good. So the price for this is on the screen because it doesn't show it here because it's already acquired. But in my opinion, that's a good investment. These future videos will be coming quite soon, so make sure you subscribe and like the bell to be notified whenever I post new videos. But for now, you know, let's hop back to USSR and let's jump into some gameplay so you can kind of see what it's about. Okay, so we're choosing the T126 here. We're on Advance to the Rhine, which is one of my least favorite maps of all time. Absolutely hate it. And we're kind of, we're pretty much just gonna, you know, storm A once this guy gets out of my way. So you can see here we've got all of your armor and your ammo rack there on the left-hand side, as well as just underneath the driver on the front right. So those are the two places you don't want to be hit. So if you are going to, I guess, show any side, it's going to be that right-hand side of this tank. Now, this thing is, I guess, relatively quick, especially for, like, the BR. So it's good fun to be able to get into the action pretty early. But at the end of the day, we're not a heavy tank. We are not going to be providing the big guns. Okay, so now you can see that I've spotted a couple of enemy tanks there. And I've taken a pop shot. I mean, it was not a very good shot on my part. I think if we had a slightly bigger gun, it might have done more damage, because you can see I did weaken the ammo rack there, but I didn't fully detonate it, which is a bit of a shame. But we'll take what we can. So we carry on advancing onto the road very gingerly around this corner, like I said, exposing that right side, until eventually the T-50 just decides he wants to crash into the back of us because he's not really looking where he's going. And then, oh, would you look at that? Out pops a nice little light, weird tank thing. What was it? A 75mm M3. So that guy went down pretty easy. As you can see, like this tank took that out pretty well. But unbeknownst to me, there is another tank sneaking up on me. And he's ready to take a few shots. I mean, I'm doing a stupid thing here by exposing so much of my tank around that corner. And I'm just trying to figure out exactly what angle I want to take, because he's around the left-hand side of this. And like I said, I don't want to show my left-hand side because that's where the ammo rack is. We're kind of not far off from there if he'd have actually hit me at a good angle to do some pen. So knowing that he's now probably reloading, I decide now is a good idea to maybe give him a little bit of a push. He's reversing back around the corner. I'm trying to bait him, get him to fire, rock him backwards and forwards. When I start getting shot from the other side, and they've taken out my gunner, so I'm kind of dead in the water here. And the other guy, I mean, he misses again, which is kind of fair, but, you know, this guy takes me out. Fair and square, Panzer IV. Not really much I can do about that. He pretty much, I'm sure, hit my coolant system, which then ricocheted and killed the rest of my crew, which is fair enough. So with that out of the way, we pop into our little biplane with the bomb load, the 4 bombs. Now, like I said, these bombs, they're nothing too special. Like, I think I've actually only ever killed like a couple of things with it. So like I said at the beginning of this video, you might actually be better off dogfighting in this plane and protecting the other heavier bombers that are around. Okay, so from up here I can see that we've got some enemies knocking around. You can see some slight movement. Ideally, I'm looking for light targets to drop bombs on. And as you can see there, you know, where that tank came out is pretty much exactly where I hit, and I didn't hit him hard enough. And that was with 2 bombs as well. I dropped all 4 of my bombs at once there. And then, yeah, again, this plane just gets ripped up. Fast forward then into the next game. This guy moves up. I mean, moves pretty quick. Oh my god! Yeah, I forgot that happened. I remember recording this and thinking, wow, he really just... Even I got air. Like, thanks to the person behind me giving a bit of a push there. Like we say, this tank's relatively quick. As you can see, there are a couple which are a bit quicker. So we stop off at the objective just to give it a little bit of a cap. Assist the teammates there, even though that guy behind me was not being the kindest little cherub. Now, my aim here is to catch maybe some of the, like the heavier tanks with the longer barrels looking to do some snipes from across the river. So this is roughly where I want to set up for this game, and I'll be honest, it wasn't the best idea. Like, this tank doesn't have a very long barrel and it doesn't have a heavy shell. Therefore, if you have some of the heavier tanks, you're actually not going to do much of a good job against them. We've got him hiding out behind that little shelter there, so we're going to focus on him and just try and get him ready. This is nothing special, nothing to do with the T126 really. This is just me wanting to put this guy in his place, really. Whilst I'm focusing on this guy, another little guy appears who I decide is mine. I give him a little bit of a critical hit. He's now only got 3 out of 4 crew. And eventually another shot absolutely nerfs him. M5A1 is out of the picture. However, what I didn't notice was that Studkov's thing, the 234/2, whatever you want to call it, had moved on. That was the original guy I was targeting, so he'd moved on and he'd made mincemeat out of me. So yeah, probably not. When you lose sight of an enemy, just move on. Don't sit there because he will just find you. Moving on then to the plane, and once again we've popped the 4 bombs on because I don't think much of the rockets at all. I'd rather have the bombs and just, like, you know, chance getting a hit on something like an anti-air. Whilst we're dropping down here, we see a friendly mark some enemies off in the trees on the other side of the river, which obviously means we need to go and get them. That's what we do. That's why we're here. So we start the dive, and I'm very aware, obviously, we've got 4 bombs, 4 very small bombs. And I'm already starting to take a few hits from someone. We drop those bombs away. We fly out of there. And once again, we get a hit. But this time, we get a kill because it came from underneath the tank. I think that's where these bombs actually do their job, is where the enemy rolls over the bombs. I've got a 2-second bomb timer on as well. This is quite key information here, because if you don't, when you drop your bombs, they will explode when they hit the ground. And if you're doing that dive bombing and you're going really close to the ground, you will blow up as well. It's something that's very handy for evading other planes when you've got bombs attached. I've seen loads of people do it in this game. You've got bombs attached and you've got a plane on you. So if I was in this position now, I would be flying close to the ground and getting him to come with me, drop the bombs off, and then hopefully their explosion would knock him out. I've seen that done loads of times. I've done it myself, but in fact, it was in this plane actually that I did it before. But yeah, so we, you know, I said before, this plane is not the quickest. I've got a dodgy engine here. He's really knocked me out. I'm not going to catch this guy, so I leave him and I head back for base. Now the problem is I have almost no engine, so I barely made it towards the runway. I landed just before it, and obviously there's this bank to go up, which is not going to work with physics, and it causes me to crash. And unfortunately, I'm not quite on the runway, so I don't repair, which means that's the end of that game for me. Okay, that does wrap it up for this video. I hope you liked it. I hope that any newcomers to the game found it helpful. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and light the bell to stay up to date whenever I release the next Starter Packs video. And until then, see ya.